I was watching this roundtable discussion the other day, which I think I've referred to before in one of these videos, and there was somebody said something in this. It was an author. I can't remember her name now. I'll see if I can find out when I get back. And she said something which, I have to say, it really grinds my gears, if I can borrow that term from Family Guy again. And it's a cliche that you come across a lot in kind of New Age understandings, if that's the right word, which is this idea of being connected. She said something to the effect that, we're all connected to everything else. It's that kind of, as I said, it's kind of New Age term for kind of non-duality, I guess, or an aspirational non-duality. I've been trying to think why I find it so irritating. I find it irritating for a number of reasons. I always find it irritating when people use that term in that way. Because on the one hand, it's banal. Because certainly on this video, the person who spoke those words was sitting on a chair at a table about 18 inches away from a person on her left, same distance away from a person on her right. Her hands were resting on the table in front of her. And certainly from my perspective as a watcher of the video, there was a background behind her, a wall behind her. So the idea that she's connected is so obvious. Of course she's connected. Her hand is resting on the table. Her feet are pressed on the floor. The surface of her eyes, of her eyeballs, are in direct contact with the surface of the atmosphere that surrounds them. The light that's flying through that air is entering those eyes. The skin cells are flaking off thousands of times a minute, and food that she digested earlier in the day is being processed. She's listening to the people, presumably, which means that the sound waves that are being generated and that are coming out of their mouths are passing through the air, and compression waves are making her eardrums vibrate, and that's sending vibrations through the cochlea of the ear, which is making those little cilia vibrate, and so on. All these things are happening in fantastic, rich detail, and she says, "I'm connected," as if it's something that is not obvious. Of course she's connected. But I think what's been hinted at there, or aspired to there, mistakenly in my opinion, is a kind of magical connection, which is really associated with a certain disposition or a certain set of what it should feel like, a certain set of assumptions about what it should feel like to be connected. I think she was trying to claim some kind of I can't even think about this without using words that I have problems with. Some kind of spiritual connection, some kind of metaphysical bond over and above the physical bonds, which quite literally connected her to the rest of the environment in which she was completely imbricated. But as I say, it seems like those physical bonds just weren't enough for her, and I don't know what she expected, because I can't imagine any spiritual bond, whatever that even means, some sort of morphic resonant field or something. I can't imagine it being any more complex, or more beautifully organised and choreographed, or more finely grained, or having more elegance than the sort of physical connections that are already in place. I'm walking through this field with all this grass, and every step that my foot takes, all these hundreds of blades of grass just gently brush out of the way and then gently come back behind me. How much more of a connection could you ask for, really? I can feel the wind blowing across my hand as I'm holding this camera phone, and that is absolutely astonishing. That's differentials in the atmospheric pressure in one part of the globe from another part of the globe are being equilibrated. And that restoring of equilibrium involves the movement of this mix of gases from one part of the globe to another. And as it moves, it's stirring the hairs in the back of my hand, which are sending signals up my nerves to my central nervous system and to my brain. It's incredibly connected. How can anybody want to be more connected than that? So yeah, I mean, that's enough of that really. I mean, it's just about that idea of connectedness. And I'm probably being overstating it a bit. I sort of understand what you're saying, in the sense that it can be quite hard to experience these connections or feel these connections. You know, we are all born alone and die alone in a sense. But you know, while we're here, you know, if we're going to feel connected, we shouldn't ignore the real connections that we're on. You know, when we stand up, our feet do touch the ground, and that's really, really important, it seems to me. And if you're looking for connectedness, you don't need to look elsewhere. I'm talking so much whilst I've been walking uphill, so I'm all breathless now. The gradient of the hill has made a direct impact on my somatic being.